I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know? What can be unburdened by what has been.
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 What we can see, what we believe can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be?
You know, going to my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. Last night I was on television. I was on a telephone. Rapidly rising, and with I don't know. COVID has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's why reflected in the NHEI. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was inflicting we're going to seize the ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression. Let me make near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway, my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. I don't think as the idea that the political coverage of I want to thank and recognize Dr. John Kingersong. That song. I can't get this to function at all. My mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. No idea. No idea. No idea.
Welcome back once again. This is Chris Report, and he assured me that St. Simon's down in Boulders. Folks, this is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the program. This is Chris live in central Pennsylvania for, well, I suppose we call it night owls here. It's night owls. It is nighttime here in the U.S., but night owls usually is afternoon time for me and evening for South Africans. It's tomorrow. South Africans, Australians, Indians, Japanese are living in the future. It is tomorrow. It's already the 23rd of July there, but it's only the 22nd of July here. Welcome back to the program, folks. Good evening. And I want you to listen for yourself. Listen to former presidential candidate Joe Biden calling into the Kamala campaign. Calling into the Kamala campaign. Listen to his words. Does this sound to you like someone, Erica? Look, no, you've suffered through a stroke. Does this sound like someone whose speech is slurred? Listen to his words. It sounds like Joe Biden had a stroke. Listen to this. This is Joe Biden calling into the Kamala Harris campaign.
I want people to remember that what we have done has been incredible, and we get so much more we're going to get done.
So much more.
So I want to say hello to Kamala. If she can hear me, I know she's going to be speaking shortly. And I want to say to the team, embrace her. She's the best. I want to call today to thank everybody in this effort. I know yesterday's news was surprising, and it's hard for you to hear, but it was the right thing to do. I know it's hard because you're poor.
Folks, Joe Biden had a stroke. What do you think? So let me do a poll real quick and we'll continue. Did Joe Biden have a stroke? Okay. Start a poll. So let's continue on. There's a poll. There's a chance to answer that poll. Listen. You can hear the slurs, especially on the S's. The man can't enunciate properly.
Your heart and soul into me.
Sure.
Help us win this thing. Help me get this nomination. Help me win the nomination, and then go on to win the presidency. But you know, you're an amazing team. But we've got a great. I think we made the right decision. I know how hard you've worked, how many sacrifices you've made, and so many of you uprooted your lives for me, and the kind of commitment few people make for anything these days. But you made it. And I've been honored and humbled. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. My word is a Biden, that for all you've done for me and my family. And we built the best campaign in organization in history.
The best campaign in history. It's so good he had to leave the race. We built the best campaign in organization in history. So good that Joe Biden had to do something someone hasn't done since 1968. Abandon the race when it's clear that nobody wanted his sorry ass in office. My goodness.
Doing this, I always kid and say, I know I'm only 40, but I've been around a long time. I don't know of a better campaign organization, grassroots campaign. You know, we have over 230 offices opened. We have over 2,000 paid staff. And we have literally...
Stop. Full stop. You haven't got jack squat, dipshit. You're no longer in the race. You haven't got anything. Joe Biden is not there. Not only is his mind going blank, it is empty.
Several thousand volunteers on a regular basis, thousands of them. And they've been relentless and tireless in reaching out and contacting voters. The leadership of this campaign has been amazing. Jen O'Malley, Dillon, Julie, Quinn, Michael Tyler, Rob Flaherty, Rufus on raising money, and so many more. You built this team. You brought them together. You brought us together. You've inspired them, and you've done what leaders do. Now we got to, you know, the name has changed at the top of the ticket, but the mission hasn't changed at all. And by the way, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be out there in the campaign with her, with Kamala. I'm going to be working like hell, both as a sitting president, getting legislation passed, as well as in campaigning.
Congress isn't in session. What legislation are you going to pass, moron? Wow. Folks, welcome to Dave, starring Kevin Kline. Right now, the White House physicians and the team are actively seeking body doubles for Joe Biden. Answer me this question. Why has Joe Biden not appeared in public? Until that supposed phone call, which sounded much more like a recording that was played in front of Kamala Harris sycophants. We haven't heard anything from Joe Biden since he was in Nevada. It's been over a week. He disappeared after the assassination attempt. After the effort to get rid of Donald Trump once and for all failed, Joe Biden disappeared because it's time to get rid of Joe Biden once and for all. The elites, the Zuckerbergs, the Pelosi's, the Schumers, the Obamas, all of that crowd, they have no more use for Joe Biden as he can no longer secure access to power for them. He was clearly going to get slaughtered in the election, in an electoral landslide, so it was time to cut him loose. Ladies and gentlemen, that audio sounds like someone who suffered a stroke. I'm not a subject matter expert. Yes, Amanda, of course he has dementia. I've been saying that since 2017 he has dementia. But it's, wow. In-laws and brothers and sisters arrested at the state line. Joe the idiot speech. Huh? It should be a maybe in the poll. Well, it's just your thought. You know, maybe. Okay, it's too late, though. The poll's already done. He must have. He sounds more lucid than normal, says Charles. More lucid than normal. I don't know. But we are the greatest crime of the 21st century after 9/11 is being perpetrated on the American people right now. That is the Biden presidency, the Biden-Harris administration. Yep, he is no longer here. He wasn't been. Yeah, and he's disappeared. Is Biden even alive? Is Joe Biden even alive? Is he lucid? Is he cogent? Is he conscious? We don't know. We have no idea. No idea whatsoever. We haven't seen him. Wow, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. 14.5 million. 14,500,000 Democratic voters have been defrauded by the Democratic Party. These are people who foolishly went to the polls in the primaries in the 50 states and territories and voted for Joe Biden. 14,500,000 suckers. And they've been taken for a ride by the corrupt Democratic Party, which has set aside their votes and said, you do not matter. Your vote doesn't matter. we are going to tell you who your nominee will be. Wow. No, Jan, Joe Biden doesn't know too much. Joe Biden has never known jack squat. That's the problem. Yes, give him ice cream. If you give him chocolate ice cream, you'll know if he's lucid. Beth says Parkinson's will make a person slur. The meds make him forgetful. Yeah, but he hasn't slurred like this before. Listen, Beth, the reason I asked the question is that he is not. This is a marked difference over the last time we heard him speak in Nevada just a week ago. A marked difference. It's not even the same. Not even the same. Not even the same. Yeah, Hillary disappeared for 6 months. Yep. Maybe he's just drugged up. Yeah, no. Maybe I should do a new poll. Give you better options here. Let's do that. Let's give you another poll with better options. Okay, let's do that. Let me end that poll. End the poll. So, okay, so let's do a new poll, okay? Okay, start a poll. What's going on with Biden? Okay, what's going on with Biden? So, okay, what are the options? Stroke meds, might have had a stroke. What's another one? Give me another option here. It's going with Biden. Okay, that one. Okay, so all right, folks, here's the poll. Now you got 4 options. 4 options. Tell me what's going on with Joe Biden. All right? Problem is I'm all there with my mind, but my body's broken. Yep. Yeah, well, his mind isn't there. His mind isn't there. He was slurring in his sleep, says Charles. Hey, Nexus of Thought. It's been a while. How you doing there? Small part of me is sad to see Sleepy Joe go. Thank you for all the laughs. Better than Comedy Central. He was talking in his sleep. I hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep. You close your eyes, go night. Hear the sound of a heartbeat. I hear the secrets that you keep. You're talking in your sleep. Oh, Joe Biden is talking in his sleep, folks. Oh, my goodness. Joe Biden is talking in his sleep. Joe Biden is talking in his sleep, man. You guys know who that is, right? That's the Romantics. When you close your eyes. Oh, the Romantics. God, I wish I could just play that stuff. YouTube, you're such evil bastards. Anyway. Never got over it by the sounds of it. Yeah, seriously, though, I've never heard him slur like this. No, I've never heard him slur like this. This is the worst ever. It's every S word. He can't do the S's. He can't do them. Yeah, I don't know if Joe's been informed that he's out of the race, although somebody said this was AI. All right, let's get to the news, folks, which is what we're going to do earlier today, but we were interrupting our news broadcast earlier today with coverage of Kim Cheatle. Actually, let's talk about that before we get into the story. So Kim Cheatle, the director of the Secret Service, went before Congress today and got castigated in a bipartisan attack. She was just slaughtered. The woman obfuscated. She refused to answer questions. She blamed everything on other people. The FBI, boy, only 30 people in the chat. Some people here are going to get some memberships that, wow, your chances are pretty good with 31 people, five gifts. So Charles Van Olsen, John Huchin, Dylan Combrick, Veronica, and LMI 5 pence all got gifted memberships. Look at that. Wow. Thank you there, Nick. Nick is like the ultimate, and then Eric is close behind on giving gift memberships. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so Kim Cheatle went before Congress, and she lied. There's John Huchin. Lied. And the most shocking thing today, in my view, was that she refused to answer questions for information she supplied to the ABC News Network in an interview. Dylan, ABC News. She gave answers. Then she refused to answer the questions of members of Congress. And she said, I can't answer that question. And like, why? You told ABC News that. Well, I have to confirm it. Well, then why are we telling ABC News, Veronica? Well, this is unbelievable. This woman. The next most shocking thing that's happened was that she was asked directly, have you been to the site? 9 days, she has not visited Butler, Pennsylvania. On my 5 pence. 9 days, she hasn't been there. Kim Cheatle has never gone to the site of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. This woman is beyond disgusting and vile. She is the most repulsive human being in America tonight. She is unbelievable. And she has no concept of accountability. These are the diversity hires. These are the incompetent boobs the Democrats put into government, in the Social Security Administration, in the IRS, in the executive branch, in the State Department especially, and the Agency for National Development, USAID. All of these organizations are stuffed full of idiots like this who only take responsibility. Never. Unbelievable. By the way, I have a headache. I mowed my lawn tonight, this morning, just before the rain came. It's been raining all day, and it was so humid out there. Even though it wasn't that hot, I'd lost a lot of fluid, so I've had a headache all day. So please forgive me for drinking. Congress still talking about defunding. I don't know about that, Beth. Too many steep slopes. Yeah. So the most poignant moment in the entire grilling was when the Texas Congressman Jimenez said, "I have an AR-15. I fired it once 6 years ago. I don't go to the range. I went to a building with the same slope, at the same distance, without any training, shooting at a target the same size, 130 meters away, and I hit the target 15 out of 16 shots." Wow. 15 out of 16 shots. Yeah, this is Fauci all over again. This is Eric Holder. This is Mayorkas. These stonewall pieces of human feces. These people should be taken out, lined up, and frog marched to federal penitentiaries for their incompetence, for their ineptitude, for their malfeasance, for their criminal activity, all of them. Mayorkas is directly culpable in the deaths of hundreds of American citizens at the hands of criminal alien invaders who he has facilitated, who he has trafficked into this country. Alejandro Mayorkas is a human trafficker. A human trafficker. Joe Biden is a human trafficker. And the border czar, Kamala Harris is the biggest human trafficker in American history. Smuggling thousands of victims into this country, slaves, sex servants into this country, courtesy of her failure to do her job. You had one job, Kamala. You had one freaking job. And you couldn't do that. And you want to be president? I don't think so. I don't think so. Cletus says no. Now, y'all think that we're going to vote for that Kamala Harris. It ain't going to happen, brother. I'm going to tell you that right now. I will give you my Ford F-250 pickup truck if that woman wins the election. It ain't going to happen. Cletus and the boys ain't going to vote for her. Not going to happen. I got trash, I got needles, I got passports from all over the world, all laying on my farm. Out there along the border, on the Rio Grande. I found dead bodies out there, I found rape victims out there, and she done do nothing. Cletus and the boys ain't going to vote for Kamala Harris. It ain't going to happen, folks. The single greatest human trafficker in American history, Kamala Harris. She's either fighting for life or she's totally involved with those who tried to kill Trump and knows they will be protected by the most evil of evil. Says Amanda. That one congressman. Oh, yeah. No. Nancy Mace of Florida just North Carolina ripped into her. Yep. Kamala taught people passing through Guatemala how to sign their New York ID cards. Yep, exactly. She is a human trafficker. Never underestimate the stupidity of a woke woman. They will all vote Kamala. Yeah, and I think you're right. Ants loves the accents. Don't you think the illegals are for Democrats to get more votes? Yes, but not in the way that people think it is. The reason it's for more votes is so it can steal votes for places where these people go. Not because they'll vote, but because representation is apportioned based on population, not on citizen population. So 6 million illegal aliens in California means that they have a larger population, which means they get more representatives, defrauding people in Nebraska, defrauding people in Illinois, defrauding people in Iowa, Pennsylvania, Michigan. by having illegals swamping into these states. That body is counted not for voting, but for apportionment purposes. That's why they want illegal aliens. And this is what Republicans never tell you. This is what the so-called brilliant analysts never tell you. It's not about them voting. Yes, they cannot vote. Yes, I know some people commit fraud, but there are not 30 million of them committing fraud. If there were, we'd have a shockingly larger number of people voting. That's not the issue. The issue is that they want them for apportionment. They want to say, aha, New York gets 37 members in the House of Representatives because we have, 5 million illegals. Doesn't matter. They're not going to say that. We have this many people, so we have to have this many congressional districts in the state of New York. Whereas we're losing congressional districts because people have either left the state or other states are larger. That's what it's all about, folks. Arctic, you say they can't vote, but the next generation can. But you missed the point. People don't look at the data. Second generation immigrants tend to vote majority Democrat, but not by a wide margin. Third generation or second generation born here, third generation of the immigrants tend to vote middle of the road on average. And it depends who they are. If they're Cubans, Haitians, they vote Republican. Mexicans, they vote Democrat. That's not a hard and fast rule. That's a general statement, though. But Cubans vote overwhelmingly for Republicans. And 865,000 Cubans have illegally entered this country that we're aware of who fraudulently claimed asylum in the past 2 years. So there's 865,000, probably 800,000 votes for Republicans there if they want them. It's not about the votes. It's about apportionment, folks. It's about apportionment. Completely off guard at her directness and no-nonsense approach. Oh, yeah, the Congresswoman really ripped into her. Which a couple of them did it. California is dragging America down. The Democrats have destroyed America. They've dragged America down. Yep, you're right, Arctic. They'll never stop. But we will put a stop to it. Yeah, and exactly. Cheap labor to clean the hotels because leftists are too lazy to clean their own houses, to raise their own children, to wash their own cars, to cut their own grass. They're lazy shits. They're lazy, lazy shits. Yep. All right, how's the poll going? Wow, it looks like the biggest answer so far is y'all think he's drugged up on meds. Okay. And, oops, come on. And almost nobody thinks it's COVID. All right, let's get some more of the news in here. So, that is not the news. Get back over here. There we go. Herman Mashab and ActionSa are teaming up with the ANC to get rid of the Al Jamaiah mayor. Whoops. What the heck was that? There we go. All right. They say if you get rid of the 200 Rand prepaid tariff and if you get rid of the Al Jamaiah mayor, we'll work with you. Party said it would support the ANC get a 2.5 billion Rand loan. They want 2.5 billion more in debt. Look, I understand where ActionSa is coming. They want to be part of the team. They want to be part of the action. They want to do something other than sit on the back benches. But going into bed with the ANC in Gauteng and Panyaza Lucifi, not a good idea. I know he's not the Joburg mayor, but he is the premier of Gauteng. So not a good idea. Folks, this kidnapping situation, South Africa is a new Colombia. It's a new Colombia. Business people being kidnapped and people being executed all the time. It's sickening. Kidnapping Nelson Mandela Bay, a business chamber deputy president right there. A week after the launch of an ambitious plan to turn around Nelson Mandela Bay through collaborative interventions with government and other role players, organized business was left devastated on Friday when director of a local battery manufacturer, AutoX, was kidnapped. The kidnappers pounced at around 6 in the morning on Friday the 19th as Kelvin Naidu, the manufacturing technical director for battery manufacturer AutoX, was driving up to the company's factory in Gabarra in his black Mercedes-Benz. He's also the deputy president of Nelson Mandela Bay business chapter. They removed him from his vehicle and forced him into a bucky and drove off. They left the Nissan NP200 and his vehicle at the scene. The bucky had been reported hijacked in Motherwell back in June. A demand for ransom for his release was made a few hours later. Hawks have taken over the investigation, but Naidu remains missing. This is insane, folks. This is going on every day across South Africa. It is time for the government to stop this nonsense, to put an end to this horror for the citizens of South Africa. Children, school children kidnapped from elite schools, industrialists kidnapped, regular people kidnapped. This is sick, sick, and sick. This is a horrible situation. I hope he's recovered, and I hope people hunt down with extreme prejudice the scumbags who kidnapped him. Steinhoff is ordered to pay 6.1 billion Rand to the state, so the ANC can pocket that money, for breaking exchange control laws. 6 billion rand. Are you serious? It's $300 million. That's insane. The company, by the way, no longer exists. It's been replaced by its successor company, Ibex. Wow. Forfeiture has already taken place of around 6 billion rand. Now they want another 6 million. Wow, Marcus Justa, what a mess you've left behind, brother. What a mess you've left behind. Took the coward's way out, or so they say. Eskom wants to block the private sector from poaching its customers. So the company that can't deliver electricity wants to prevent others from delivering electricity. Wow. Eskom has objected to NERSA issuing licenses to private suppliers in regions where its distribution division holds a license. Our objection is on the strength of the rules that we have been approved and published by NERSA. The rules clearly indicate there should be not 2 or more licenses in one area of supply. Why? Why shouldn't there be more than 2 licenses? Why? Because you can't deliver and you want to be able to steal money from people? No. 2 folks apparently went after a ball in the sea at Milnerton at Woodbridge Island, and they perished, folks. Sad story here. National Sea Rescue Institute confirmed 2 young men who were swept out to sea by rip currents on Sunday at Lagoon Beach in Milnerton were found dead. The 2 young men, aged 19 and 20, part of a team playing soccer, are believed to have run after a ball into the water, and they were pulled under the riptide. Thoughts and prayers to their family. Wow, don't mess around with the water. Speaking of thoughts and prayers, the assassination of the Cape Town housing official is now linked to the underworld. The family of Wendy Kloppers said they are still in shock that underworld figure Ralph Stenfield has been linked to her murder. Wow. Railton Kloppers, whose partner Wendy Kloppers, the city of Cape Town housing official, was gunned down at a construction site in Delft last year, said the family was shocked to hear that 2 people arrested in connection with her murder had been linked to the underworld. The 2, Michael Morris and Shazat Esop, have joined alleged gang boss Ralph Stanfield and his wife Nicole Johnson in the Cape Town Magistrates Court in a case that has widened to include the construction mafia murder of Wendy, a hit on a policeman, and the shooting of an alleged gang leader from Kraaifontein. The case has been postponed to September 13th. Her partner, Railton Kloppers, said that she had received a call that day and had a concerned look on her face. It was only later that she was found murdered. A woman sentenced to 5 years in jail for a wrongful conviction for murder was set up by the police in South Africa. This is unbelievable. Well, it is believable, sadly. 5-year torment for wrongful murder conviction was like a crime scene investigation plot. Results of gunshot residue tests, which proved her innocence, were never admitted as evidence during her trial. The police and the prosecutor hid that evidence. Now, they're talking about what settlement should be getting from the government. Settlement! The prosecutor and the police should be in prison. They should be getting butt-banged and assaulted in prison like she probably was during those 5 years of her life, stolen from her. And oh, by the way, the evidence was available to the police before she was even convicted in court. This whole case never should have happened. This is an abuse of law. This is what the state can do to innocent people. This is what the state can do to innocent people, ladies and gentlemen. An Nkandla woman languished in jail for more than 5 years after being convicted of murdering her husband despite objective scientific evidence that she had not committed the crime. The results of gunshot residue tests, which proved her innocence and that her husband had committed suicide, were never admitted as evidence during the trial. In fact, the police and the prosecutor covered up the evidence, not providing it as part of discovery for the defense. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, Alan Gray issues a warning for pensioners based on what I told you yesterday. This is a foolhardy idea to let people dip into their pension funds because then when they retire, there won't be enough there and they'll cry to the state for help. And socialists will give them your money. South Africa's new two-pot retirement system is less than 2 months away, but fund members have warned about the dangers of dipping in retirement savings. The two-pot retirement system, as the name suggests, will have a savings and retirement pot. Yep. So, bad idea. And financial analysts are agreeing with me. Well, South Africans who are suffering immensely from the economic foibles of the racist African National Congress's policies are desperate. And as a consequence, many are selling their secondhand clothes and others are buying them because they cannot afford firsthand clothes. Due to the ever-increasing price of clothes, many South Africans have turned to the secondhand clothing market to go shopping and flip old garments into cash. Wow. Now, normally you can find these at charity and hospice shops. Here in America, that'd be places like Goodwill and the Red Cross. But now people are turning to ThreadUp's 2024 resale report says that Second-hand clothes will be worth over 6 trillion rand by 2028 globally. Wow. In South Africa, it's also quite a lucrative market. 250 million rand, a quarter billion rand of people selling their clothes. Wow. Let me close the poll. 30 votes. All right. Half say he's drugged up. You're probably right. But he sounds like he had a stroke to me. So Joe Biden. All right. Now, xenophobia over the selection of a candidate to be Miss South Africa because her father's Nigerian and her mother is from Mozambique. But she was born in South Africa, which makes her South African. Yeah. And you should see some of the racist comments that come out from this. Here's a young lady. Chidima Atashina has been under attack since he was accepted into the top 30 of Miss South Africa. The controversy was sparked shortly after entry into the beauty pageant. She stated in her video that she was raised in Soweto. However, some people argue despite being born at Chris Hani Academic Hospital and being raised in South Africa, her parents were not South Africans. My dad is a proud Nigerian. My mother was born and raised in South Africa but has roots from Mozambique. My mom's family still live in Soweto and I visit them from time to time, she said. Wow. So people went after her. Wow. So listen to this racist here. The outcry of a black woman participating in Miss South Africa because her parents' heritage is peak xenophobia and self-hate. Agreed. Not one of the whites who are European settlers are questioned. Racist. Black people need to stop hating themselves. That young lady was born in South Jehovah. I'm sorry, weren't those white people that this racist just attacked also born in South Africa? Many of them, their families for 4 centuries. You see the racism, the wanton racism that's tolerated in South Africa by black supremacists? It's unbelievable. So this woman, whose parents come from Nigeria and Mozambique, was born in South Africa, and she's a South African, which I agree with, and I stated. But apparently, if you're white, you're not a South African. You're a European settler. Racist. Racist clowns. Well, good news, folks. If you want to watch the Olympics, if you want to watch in South Africa, SABC does have the rights, and they're not subsidiary rights. They didn't buy them from DSTV. They bought them from the Olympic Committee. So you'll be able to watch live, on television, over the air, and streaming on SABC. South Africans won't have to pay the DSTV subscription fee or resort to tricky workarounds using virtual private networks or foreign payment methods to watch this year's anticipated sporting events for the Summer Olympics. Yep. While MultiChoice again secured pay TV rights and streaming for the event, South Africa's public broadcaster, SABC, has secured the free-to-air rights. Also not streaming, just free-to-air. All right, there you go. There are so many different sports that you'll watch on SABC Sports Channel, SABC 1, SABC 2, and SABC 3. There you go, folks. You can watch the Olympics for free, provided you have a television. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that there are some really clever criminals in South Africa. Thabo Bester, Jacob Zuma, Cyril Ramaphosa. I joke with the last two, or do I? No, but there's some really, really clever jokes. Here's the latest one. Cian Rao reports that 2 suspects in custody escape from police custody. Are you ready for it? They escape from police custody. Do you know how? They turn themselves into cats. Meow. They turned themselves into cats and slipped out the bars. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up, folks. This is a true story. Cops called to explain after suspects allegedly turned into cats to escape custody. If you thought the Thabo Bester prison escape was one for the record books, there's another shocker. Gauteng police are probing the strangest case in a while after suspects allegedly turned into cats and simply slinked out of the cell. They were arrested along with 11 others in possession of stolen property on the 16th of July. The report states that the 2 men identified as Mustafa Ali and Omari Mustafa were in a holding cell. However, when police called out their names, the men were nowhere to be found. The report further states that another suspect alleged that Ali and Mustafa made strange owl-like noises. Ooh, 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 ooh. Turned into cats. And walked out of the holding cells. Oh, dear God. It's too much, man. It's too much. This is a news story in South Africa. I'm not making this stuff up, folks. The official who wrote up the police report claimed that when he and another officer went to cells to count the suspects, the same man who claimed the two men turned to cats told them the same story. Police have since arrested one of the escapees. There's no indication whether he was still in the form of a cat when they arrested him. Well, folks, a quarter of rural Zimbabweans are taking a dump in the open. Yep. After some improvement, Zimbabwe has for the past 5 years held steady at 25% of the rural population with no access to toilets. That's down from 30% in the year 2000, but the numbers have not improved over some time. About half of Zimbabwe's rural population have access to basic toilets, and another 9% have access to limited toilets. Others have toilets that have never been upgraded or improved. Wow. Me personally, I bought a house with a toilet in it that flushes, and I keep it well maintained. Just saying. The United States promises more money for the war-torn Sudan, taking it out of my pocket. U.S. promises 3.65 billion rand in aid for the worst humanitarian crisis in the world, which the ANC is completely oblivious to. 5.6 million people at risk of starvation, black Africans in Sudan as a consequence of black Africans fighting a war against black Africans and murdering black Africans, while the black African ANC doesn't give a flying flip about it. They're busy in the International Court of Justice persecuting and trying to prosecute Israel. The black Africans, killing black Africans in black Sudan, not an issue, not a concern for the black leadership of the ANC. Just an inconvenient fact. But once again, America to the rescue, feeding the starving. What's new? Kenya police discover a serial killer. For a long time, people acted as if only shooters and mass shooters and guns and serial killers were things in America. They're not. They've never been just in America. Every country has these lunatics. Everyone's gone through this problem. This is a problem the world over, not simply in America. When the reason you attack us is because we are open about it. We report it, whereas other people cover it up. Well, not this time. Kenyan police have a suspect who say he dumped 42 bodies of women. Kenya police said Monday they had arrested a serial killer, a suspect who confessed to murdering 42 women before dumping their dismembered bodies in a Nairobi rubbish tip. Since Friday, 9 mutilated and dismembered bodies trussed in plastic bags have been pulled from the garbage site in the Mukuru slum in the south of Nairobi. A gruesome discovery that has horrified the nation. We're dealing with a serial killer, a psychopathic serial killer who has no respect for human life, the head of the Director of Criminal Investigation, Mohammed Amin, said. The suspect confessed to having lured, killed, and disposed of 42 female bodies at the site, adding that Kulisha claimed the murders took place between 2022 and July 11th of this year. Unfortunately, this is very sad. The suspect alleged that his first victim was his wife, who he strangled to death before dismembering her body and disposing of it at the same site. Wow. This is unbelievable. Except it is very believable. Human beings are nasty creatures, so many of them. In West Africa, Nigerian unions have averted a strike by reaching a wage deal with the government. Nigeria's main labor unions have agreed on a new minimum wage of 70,000 naira or $44 a month after talks with the government ending months of deadlock and the threat of strikes. Africa's most populous nation is grappling with the worst cost of living crisis in a generation, kind of like the rest of us, thanks to Joe Biden. Sierra Leone has banned child marriages. Anyone who marries a female under the age of 18 is going to go to jail for a long time. Good night, James Bowie. Sierra Leone has banned child marriages with a new law signed by President Julius Maada Bio, marking a significant step in protecting children's rights, particularly young girls. The new law punishes men who marry girls under 18 with at least 15 years in prison and a fine of $4,000. It makes it illegal to live with a child in a marriage-like setting and punishes anyone who arranges or attends such marriages. Wow. Sierra Leone has one of the highest child marriage rates in Africa, with 30% of girls married before their 18th birthday. Wow. Well, good. That's some good news there for kids. Burkina Faso's junta adopts a draft law to criminalize homosexuality. West African nation has been among just 22 of 54 countries in the continent that allow same-sex relations, which are punishable by death or lengthy prison terms in some states like Zimbabwe and Namibia. Burkina Faso has been under military rule since 2 successive coups in 2022, and now they want to criminalize homosexuality. Well, where is Code Pink? Where are the leftists complaining about Burkina Faso? They won't complain about it because it's a black country, and that doesn't fit the narrative. Assailants killed 6 people at a care facility in Croatia. An assailant entered a care home for older people in a quiet central Croatian town and opened fire, killing 6 people and wounding 6 others. The victims were mostly in their 90s. Croatia's police chief Nikola Milina said 5 people died immediately while 1 more died in the hospital. Suspect fled the scene, but police caught him in a cafe near the facility in the town of Druvar. 5 residents of the care facility and 1 employee. Yes, mass shootings only happen in America. Serial killers only in America. Horse manure. Well, the next criminal alien invasion is underway as hundreds, thousands of migrants leave southern Mexico on foot for new caravan headed for the U.S. border. And guess what? You're not coming in. Hundreds of migrants from around a dozen countries left Mexico's southern border on foot Sunday as they attempt to make it to the U.S. border. And this stuff needs to stop. No country can survive with this garbage going on. No country can survive. Well, an anti-whaling campaigner got his comeuppance when he landed in Greenland only to be arrested and detained and subject to extradition to Japan, where he's wanted for criminal charges. Yes. Paul Watson, founder and president of Animal Rights Environmental Sea Shepherd Conservation, well, he is in trouble. Greenland police said they apprehended veteran environmental activist and anti-whaling campaigner Paul Watson on an international arrest warrant issued by Japan. The 73-year-old Canadian-American, you can have him, is a former head of Sea Shepherd Conservation Society's direct action tactics, including high-seas confrontations with whaling vessels, have drawn support from A-list celebrities and featured in the reality series Whale Wars. He was arrested Sunday when his ship docked in Nuuk, Greenland's capital. He later appeared before a district court to look into a request detaining him pending a decision of possible extradition to Japan. I hope he goes to Japan and goes to jail for his crimes. You are full of beep. You are full of beep. Wow, Nancy Mace, let's rip on the useless, feckless, steaming pile of beep known as Kimberly Cheatle. Representative Nancy Mace, Republican, South Carolina, cursed at Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle during her testimony about the failed assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. Cheatle acknowledged the agency failed during the shooting but refused to step down from position. Well, we'll see how much longer she survives. Yes. Well, that's correct there, Divane Musekwa. Japan is struggling with population decline and with an aged population. White House confirms that Sleepy Joe, my mind's going blank, will not be leaving the White House. Yep. President Biden looks forward to finishing his term. We don't. Yep. He looks forward to finishing his term and delivering more historic results to the American people. Well, the only history we've seen is bad mojo. Bad mojo. YouTube viewer. Who is YouTube viewer? Oh, okay. There you go. House committee skewers Kim Cheatle for not answering major questions on the Trump assassination attempt. Several lawmakers from both parties told Kimberly Cheatle to resign over incompetence and her lame excuses. Cheatle, who was subpoenaed to testify, did not provide clear answers when committee members asked about whether the Secret Service had secured the building that the government had fired from and how he gained access. I'm not going to get into specifics. It prompted committee members from both parties to tell her to resign over incompetence, her lame excuses, and her lack of answers for what they call basic questions. You're full of beep today, said Representative Nancy Mace. You have repeatedly refused to answer our questions, Nancy Mace said. Wow, it was brutal, folks. You can see some of that if you go back and watch my broadcast today, which was supposed to be in the news. It's been retitled because we spent the entire time listening to that testimony and me commenting on it. Yep. Governor Gretchen Whitler has endorsed Kamala Harris, jumping in line with all the demon rats in that party, saying that she's not leaving Michigan. Well, that's not really believable. Gretchen Whitler endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to be the next president of the United States and seemingly took herself out of potential consideration for the Democratic running mate. Well, don't count on that. Don't count on that. Kamala is Kamala versus very, very old Trump is the story from the Daily Mavericks. Philip von Niekerk, a man who clearly doesn't like Donald Trump and can't tell the truth about Kamala Harris's vulnerability. And now he tries to turn into an age race. She's young, he's not. Well, it's not about that. He has energy. She is slow motion. Yep. So there you go. This is a story in South African media already trying to pimp for Kamala Harris. And people complain about me covering events and reporting on events in South Africa when we have South African newspapers actively undermining our election from South Africa. U.S. election 2024, Kamala Harris is pushing ahead for the presidential nomination, trying to secure delegates ahead of the convention. She launched her first full day of campaigning after Joe left. The growing number of Democrats, including Biden, have now endorsed her to become the party's nominee, but ain't going to happen, folks. She's not going to win. Yep. Yes, Nexus of Thought, she is unburdened by what could have been. What could have been. What will be. In polls, she trails Donald Trump in virtually every state that matters in this election. Even though Biden was endorsed, Vice President Harris replaced him. Recent polls find little difference between how she and Biden stack up against Trump. Here you go, Harris and Trump. And the dates of the polls, 16th to the 18th. And some go back to June. And in every one of these polls, except the NPR, National Public Radio, and PBS, and the ABC Ipsos poll, Trump leads in every single poll. Every single poll. Every single poll. And now that she's actually a candidate and he'll have a chance to rip into her, he'll lead by even more. Wow. Well, Joe Biden waited so long to pull out, not because he's an arrogant asshat, which he is, but apparently he didn't trust that Harris could get the job done. And now he tells us today that she's the best person for it. Yes. Biden doubted Harris' election chances. Yep, why it matters. Biden ultimately decided to withdraw under pressure from his party and endorsed Harris, but his private anxieties reflect broader questions among some Democratic leaders about Harris as their nominee this November. Well, with good reason. She's a poor choice. A poor choice. Well, Hal Harris is preparing to contrast her record as a prosecutor with Trump's as a felon. Fair-minded people don't buy into the story that Donald Trump was a felon by a captured crooked court that convicted him. Yep. So don't hold your breath on this. As a former prosecutor, Vice President Harris has a lot of experience holding convicted felons accountable, said Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, a former primary opponent of hers. She was fighting on behalf of abused women. She was in the trenches against giant banks. She was out in the middle of multiple fights every day as a prosecutor and the Attorney General of California. She also incarcerated black men for marijuana possession, not trafficking. Possession. She also facilitated the criminal invasion of America, is the largest human trafficker in American history. And she's also facilitated the release of felons who assaulted and murdered people during the Summer of Love in 2020. Yeah, women's rights, champion for the downtrodden? No. An elite asshat, that is Kamala Harris. There is the truth. Well, flight cancellations continued today in America as a result of the CrowdStrike garbage going on. Delta was the hardest hit airline, as another 1,700 U.S. flights were scrubbed on Sunday. Travelers confronted a third day of flight snarls and long waits at U.S. airports as many. There's Erica's super chat. That took a long time to come through. Thank you, Erica. You're welcome for me bringing the news. 70 Rand, thank you for that. Delta has been hardest hit and accounted for the bulk of Sunday's problems. Its software struggled to keep up with the changes. It scrubbed about one-third of its flights Friday and Saturday and remained in disarray Sunday, canceling a quarter of its flights. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. Despite that, Delta's stock was up. Makes no sense. And as I said, Joe Biden called into the campaign earlier this evening and said he's not going anywhere. And you all heard that. He sounds like he's either on medication or has had a stroke. And that's the news I was unable to get to earlier today. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in for that. I really appreciate it on this Night Owls. It's a really early hour for people in South Africa. Atlanta experiencing 3 days of delayed passengers. I know, Arctic, and I just talked about that. It's crazy. Yep. Will Harris choose Corn Pop? I don't think anybody knows where Corn Pop is. I think Joe made him disappear after he got in the Senate in 72. If laughing was an electioneering campaign, she would win hands down. Yeah. Yeah, so she get back to her knee pads. Oh, Charles, that's harsh. YouTube viewer, no matter how y'all feel about the Dems' trickery, think how Sleepy Joe will be feeling. Oh, the man feels very betrayed, and I'm just, I find that hilarious. It's the only part of the whole situation I find comical and I'm laughing about is how he feels. I'm glad he feels betrayed because as Americans, we feel betrayed. As service members, we know we're betrayed. American service members whose remains were brought back in a dignified transfer of remains at Dover Air Base. Joe Biden spending the entire time looking at his wristwatch as if he had someplace better to be. Joe Biden, who's never mentioned the name of a single person who died in Abbey Gate as a consequence of his ineptitude, his lies to the world and to Americans. Joe Biden never mentioned a single name, never called a Gold Star family. Never met one of those Gold Star families. Donald Trump, by contrast, has called and met and hosted them in Bedminster, New Jersey, had him come to his resort there, and he met all of them and spent time with them. He spent 6 hours with them that day. The man is incredibly busy, wealthy, trying to defend his life against these spurious, ludicrous, fake lawsuits, and he spent 6 hours with Gold Star families when he wasn't even a candidate a couple years ago. Wow. Wow. Charles, I pointed out, I was the first analyst to point out that they have robbed 14.5 million people of their vote. Isn't it ironic that the Democrats have spent 18 months, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, he's a tyrant, he's a fascist, he doesn't believe in the rule of law, he wants to take the vote away from black people, voter ID is racist. Really? Right? I'm sorry. Without voter ID, The Democrats just stole the votes of 14.5 million people. 14.5. Yeah, well, it was United and Delta the other day. Now it's mostly United. Or mostly Delta, excuse me. Yeah, 14.5 million Americans have been defrauded of their vote by the Democratic Party elites. Why would RFK Jr. be livid? He's not the Democratic Party. He's running as an independent. But Chris, you and we have known Biden was not. You're running. Yeah. Well, I thought Susan Rice was running it until she left the White House. And then since then, I think Barack Obama's had a more direct hand on it through Nancy Pelosi and not Mitch McConnell. Yeah, might as well. Through Chucky Schumer. Yep. Yeah, I like that, Artie. United looks like they're back to their normal delays, mostly. Yeah, United is useless. Yes, Nexus, he was forced out. We know that. But he should have been forced out 4 years ago. He should never have been the candidate. Should not have been announcing running. I've been saying for 18 months this man will not be in. They will broker the convention. Odds are they'll broker the convention and pick another candidate. That's what I said all along. But now Joe Biden has kind of screwed them. He screwed them. They thought they had Biden. They forced him out, and he poked him right in the eye. Right there. Poked him right in the eye by announcing he was endorsing Kamala Harris, and now they're stuck. They're stuck. So we'll see what happens behind the scenes because Barack Obama has not endorsed her and a bunch of other people have not endorsed her. Many people are endorsing her, but these same people endorsed Joe Biden to be president. And just like that, they can change their position. Yep. My son made it back from safari by the skin of his teeth. On the flight, you mean? Don't expect Brandon to even make 4 years, to be fair. Neither did I. I thought he'd probably die in office, but he's still there. So, but let's talk a little bit more about this embarrassment that was today, folks. That was shocking, to say the very least. Shocking, to say the least. Oh, my goodness. We started watching the grilling of Kimberly Cheatle a couple of hours into it. It started at 10 a.m., and I started at 12, about 10 after 12, watching for an hour, over an hour. Yeah, you're right. He hasn't made it 4 years yet. So that was shocking what was revealed, what she refused to answer there. It was sad, to say the very least. Very sad. Very sad to see what was happening to our nation. Oh, sorry. I was busy with romantics. Talking in your sleep. That song is a banger in 1983, 2013. It's still a banger in 2023. We're going to have so much fun together. Yep. Yeah, and Amanda watched all of it. I didn't watch all of it. It was unbelievable. This is obfuscation. This is refusal to answer questions. She's in contempt of Congress. There should be a bench warrant or issued for her right now. They're going to arrest Peter Navarro for not violating executive privilege and putting him in a federal prison like he's some sort of criminal. This woman needs to be dealt the same medicine. Alejandro Mayorkas is definitely involved in the cover-up here, just like he covered up what's going on at the border. Arctic watched the first 3 hours. Wow. Weekend at Bernie's, that's correct. We're watching the movie Dave right now, folks. Has anybody seen Joe Biden? I was going to get a milk carton. That's not a milk carton, but you know what I'm talking about, the pictures on the milk carton. Joe Biden on a milk carton. Yes, Beth, her nonverbal communication was much more confident and calm when Democrats asked her a question because she knew she was protected. That's why she behaves the way she did behave today, because she knows she's protected. There are no consequences to her conduct, no consequences to her malfeasance, no consequences to her negligence. Just like James Comey, she's not going anywhere. Nope. And if she does go somewhere, she'll get a nice golden parachute. She'll be a lecturer at some university, poisoning the minds of young Americans and international students. That's right. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Where in the world is Joe Biden? No press conference, no Oval Office address, nothing. Just defiant memes and garbage and press releases with digital signatures. Yep, that letter had a digital signature, not an original signature. You notice that? Yep. So did Joe even write the letter? Of course he didn't write the letter. Does Joe even know he's not the president? I'm not sure he does, despite that recording we heard earlier. Crazy. That could have been recorded at any time. Yep. Wow. Unbelievable. Oh, my 5 pence. She should have been sacked the day it happened. Yep. Kimberly Cheetos looked, that's what she's going to be known as, Kimberly Cheetos, looked really dumb when told that the sniper's roof is steeper than the shooter's roof. Yeah, I know. I saw that. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, she has him in the sight. And what does she know? So here's the most egregious thing of all of it. Why is she on ABC News 2 days after the events, briefing ABC News and not in front of Congress? And then 9 days after the event, she says, well, I can't answer that question. Yeah, but you told ABC News. Well, I can't answer that question. Well, but you told ABC News. I can't answer that question, but you told ABC News. The whole world knows. Director, can you confirm that at 52 minutes before the hour, or after the hour, at 5:52, that this happened? No, I can't. But you told ABC News it happened. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's not, look, Charles, it's probably not incompetence. If they're involved, well, look, I mean, here's a question for Kimberly Cheetos. Kimberly Cheetos, who was on the grassy knoll? Honestly, folks, honestly. Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable. It's unreal. It's unreal. It's beyond incompetence. Nobody can be that incompetent, can they? I mean, honestly, can somebody be that incompetent? I suppose they can, but geez, that's just something else. That's beyond the pale. Busy guarding Doritos. Yeah, that's what, yeah, I said guarding. I misspoke during the broadcast. The guy was saying guarding. She should go back to guarding Doritos. Yeah, I know the Zondo tapes were pretty stupid people too, but this was in front of the whole world, not South Africa. They reeked out a confession to a colossal. Yeah, but that took 5 minutes. He had to rephrase it for her because she's such a thunderhead. And she finally said, yes, it was a colossal failure. Wow, this was something else. Short bids the day prior to. Yes, I have heard about that. You mean on Trump Social? Yep. Yes, his signature on the letter is different to his previous signatures. That's correct. That is correct. It doesn't match, and it's a digital signature. Yeah, but, I mean, you can make with that what you want. I mean, if the guy had a stroke, he might not be able to sign properly. It happens. So, Kimberly Cheetos. Eric says Kimberly Cheaters. Oh, there's going to be a lot of memes. This woman, she has nice hair, by the way. I try to find something nice to say about her. Yep. It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know what to say, folks. I don't know what to say. Did anybody go to Rumble and watch my video? Let's do that. Who watched my video on Rumble? So answer the question. Answer the question, as I used to tell Rob Hutchison. Yeah, so there's a poll up, and nobody watched it. Did you know about it? Did you even know about my Rumble video? Let's go find that one real quick. Actually, I should be able to find it here. It should be in WhatsApp. Let me find one of the groups that doesn't do much. Okay. Oh, by the way, folks, have I got that one up? I'm trying to find that link real quick. Rumble, there we go. Yes, Charles, but I'm afraid to do a video on YouTube because I suspect they're going to come back and say that this is fake news and start attacking people when you can't have opinion. It's opinion. Watch Dan Bongino scathing about the entire situation. Said they needed failure in order to move forward. Well, I don't look. Okay, when you say my feelings towards Dan Bongino are because it's all about Dan Bongino. He's qualified. He's not incompetent. He's a decent guy. He's a patriot, but it's all about Dan Bongino. That's my problem with him. Yep. So, yeah, 15 votes. Nobody watched my video. Wow. That's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. My feelings are really offended. Not one person watched that video. Wow. Well, there's not much point in me. Well, don't use Rumble, but you can go there on a browser, man. Killed my Rumble account because it was hacked, says Myra. Oh, Charles is pulling my chain. Okay. You smart asses. Yeah. Anyway. And the guy who did the audio about the shot sounds thinking, yeah, look, you need to listen to the conversation between Vena Dutoy and myself about that. People don't understand that you can hear a sound twice. Yeah, you can hear a sound twice. You can hear the crack, and then you can hear it at different locations. So, Vena's explanation of what was going on is much better than what we're hearing from these commentators. Scott Perry did a pretty good job interrogating Kimberly Cheetos today when he was in that hearing, talking about defilade and things like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm eating this up, man. There's some Army terms coming out there, because he's a retired brigadier general from the Pennsylvania National Guard who was a helicopter pilot, combat pilot. Scott Perry, former leader of the Freedom Caucus. Yep. Anyway, 27 likes. Doesn't laugh. Yep. I can get you a Kamala wet wipe. Yes. Speed of sound and actual bang for weapon. Exactly. So before people are like, oh, there are 9 shots or this many shots, we know there was at least 4 shots, because we are not told that the same round hit more than one person. So at least 4 people were hit. But let's leave that for forensics and ballistics experts to figure out. Right now, the bigger question is, why is Kimberly Cheetos the director of the Secret Service, and why has nobody been called? When she was asked if she would fire people for their incompetence, she couldn't even answer that question. This is unbelievable. All right, nobody watched my video except Charles, and he fibbed about it. So, end the poll. No, you're not. Okay, folks, just click on the link. It'll take you there. You shouldn't need an account to see it. Yes, I know, Arctic. She was in the Secret Service for 27 years. That's why she's the director. She's the director not because she was competent, not because she was the best person. She's the director because Jill Biden liked her, because she was on the vice president's detail, and Jill Biden liked her. So Jill Biden, who has been running the White House, is the one who got her nominated. Yep. But I think the most damning one of all was that two things: that she had never been to the site 9 days. And then when Jimenez from Texas said, I have an M6, an AR-15. I've had it for years. I fired it once. It was 6 years ago. I don't go to the range. But I took my rifle, went on the roof with the same slant, at the same distance, at a target the size of Trump, and I hit the target 15 out of 16 shots with no training. Oh, my goodness. Wonder what they have on Cheatle. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, Joe Biden liked her, correct? Did not know her training budget either. Exactly, yeah. Well, there's a lot of things. She didn't know her training budget. She didn't know her budget at all. I mean, that's insane. Director of the service, you don't know the budget? You're going to tell me that the CEO of Boeing doesn't know the annual revenue of his corporation? Spare me. You're going to tell me that Abbott Laboratories doesn't know how much money that they spend on research and development? The director, he could tell you that right now. The CEO, the chief executive officer of Abbott Laboratories today could tell you, if you call him right now and say, how much did your corporation spend last year on research and development? He can tell you exactly. I bet you. Yep. According to forensics. She should have... Exactly. She should have a ballpark figure. She should know. Yep. Anyway, Vilma just took off. So good to thank you for being here. It's also on Odyssey, folks. I put on Odyssey, but nobody goes there. I didn't give the link on Odyssey. Let me get the link off of Odyssey. Okay. Let me get you the link for it off of Odyssey if you want to go there. Odyssey channels. By the way, a bunch of people jumped over on Rumble and started following me. I now have more followers on Rumble than I do on Odyssey. That's pretty rewarding.
On July 21st, 2024, shortly after 1 p.m. Eastern Time in Washington, D.C., a letter appeared on the personal X, formerly Twitter account of President Joe Biden, declaring that he would...
Now, I didn't put it on YouTube because there's things I say in there that I don't want to be accused of, spreading fake news, because you never trust YouTube, because it's my analysis and it's supposition. So, but that's an audio recording of what I did last night. I wrote an article. I sent it to the Daily Friend. They've got it. I don't know if they're going to use it or not, but if they don't, they need to get back with me so I can publish it on my own on my Substack page. Yep. Anyway, that's on Odyssey if you want to go to Odyssey. Well, now we have 35 here. The moment I get ready to leave, more people show up. What's going on there? What's that all about? Be sure to hit the like button, folks. Yeah, Kimberly Cheetos. It's unbelievable, isn't it? All right, folks, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for tuning in. I just want to do it night owls to get to the news that we missed today. Tomorrow I've got rugby interview in the morning. Then we'll do the news. Thursday I'm being interviewed by Biz News again about something unrelated. This is South Africa issue. So looking forward to that. They just went to the loo to get coffee. All right, thanks everybody. God bless. Have a good night. Appreciate it. Those in South Africa, get some rest. Those here in the States, thanks for tuning in for the evening broadcast. Cheers, everybody. Thanks a lot.